So thank you so much for being here with Your Town and the Arts of the Answer component and our theme today, which is the artist's life. I am so thrilled to have Ed Avila with us today, and he's a painter, photographer, and also one of the board members, right, of the Salinas Valley Art Gallery. So we're going to talk about all of that and just a little more. Ed, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Can you talk about how did you first get into the visual arts? How old were you? What got you started?
I've always been. I think we had a couple of professional artists in the family, and it just was one of those things that we just did, you know. And some of it just kind of came naturally. But I got into photography because I found that it was time consuming, and being a kid, it's time consuming to make a painting, and you could take a picture real quick.
Yeah.
So that kind of led me into photography.
And you developed that quite a bit, right? And you're still a photographer.
I'm still a
in some
photographer.
ways, at least.
I closed my studio a number of years ago, but I still photograph a lot of schools and an occasional family or a high school senior, but those are kind of rare. But mostly I'm trying to put the emphasis on the painting, and you know.
So what led you back into the idea of painting and that?
Well, I never really let it go.
Settle down. Yeah.
I stayed with it, and I was I did oil painting, which I didn't really care for. I don't like the process. I don't like the mixing and cleaning up and all that. And so I started watercolor. And I did watercolor for a number of years, and somehow around the house was a set of pastels. And I dabbled in the pastels, and I really liked the pastels. And that's all I do now.
That's
But you don't have to wait for the oil to dry. You don't have to worry about the watercolor running. Everything's, you do it, it's done. And it is possible to correct it. It stays right there, yeah.
Wow. So one of the things that I know about your work already is that you capture a number of Monterey County scenes. That's how we met you and whatnot. Can you describe how you choose your subjects and
well, being a photographer, and I used to backpack a lot, and so I'm into hiking and whatever, and so I take photographs. And being a photographer, it's fairly easier for me to get a good photograph than most people. And then I don't have Photoshop, but I put the stuff in my computer and then crop it and look for, and sometimes I use little parts of paintings.
Oh, sure.
But people say, oh, gee, you shouldn't work from photographs, but I always do. I haven't got time to go out and paint plein air. I mean, it's fun and whatever, but I don't do that. I read one time also that Monterey County, and I don't know how true this is, but I read this somewhere, that Monterey County is the most diverse geographic county in the United States.
Well, it's got to be close. If it's not the most diverse, we know
so we've got
extraordinary.
Everything imaginable. You know, it's all right there.
And you capture a lot. It seems to me of the inland areas. Well, think of the inland area. So North County, South County scenes. Are there other places too that you're really super interested in that just kind of call to you as an artist?
Well, just all of it actually. My family settled this part of the country years ago, and
where did they come to?
Well, they were, I think, from Mexico actually, originally, the Avilas, and the other parts of the family came from the back east, Indiana or someplace. And I'm about, every now and then somebody says, are you native Californian? And I'm about as native as you can get because, you know, somewhere along the way they married the Indians that were here already.
Sure.
And anyway, in my bio, it says, at the gallery, it says something to that effect, that I'm kind of geared to the history of the county.
Yes.
And you know, I grew up here. I've never lived anywhere out of Monterey County.
Yeah.
And the whole place, it's big and there's everything imaginable. So I don't really have a specific thing. The ocean's nice, but you can go down the valley. You can, you know, I did a show a couple years ago, a featured artist show in a gallery in Salinas that was all tractors.
Oh, that's great.
Old tractors, and boy, they sold like hotcakes.
Great.
Right now, I happen to be the featured artist this month, and until this weekend, August, whatever it is, 28th, I think. And my show is, I got to think a minute. I titled it different, and I changed the name. I forgot what I changed it to, but it's about pathways in the parks.
Oh, brilliant!
You know, a walk in the park. That's the name of it.
Walk in the park. That's gorgeous.
And there's so many parks, national parks, county parks, regional parks in Monterey County.
Yep.
It's mind-boggling.
Even little pocket parks in
Yeah,
Monterey.
exactly. And that's what I told someone that every little cottage in Monterey is its own park. And I haven't done any, but I'm already thinking. I've got this show up right now,
Yeah.
and I'm already thinking about what to do next time. I
Isn't
think
that
I'm
awesome?
gonna do another one and expand it a little bit. But I can still stay in Monterey County and have all kinds of stuff.
Oh, this is the kind of thing we were just talking about with Dave Holodilov, that for so many artists, there's always the draw for more. There's curiosity, there's interest.
Yeah.
There's never an end to what you could explore, how you're going to do that. Even.
Well, and
So-
in something like this, you know, we've got the ocean. You could go to Big Sur. Now that the road's open, we can
Yeah.
get down there. And, you know, down the valley, you've got all the ag buildings. I've got a
It's amazing.
photograph I took. I ride a mountain bike occasionally.
Ah,
And I took a view of the valley, the fields, the lettuce fields.
Oh, wonderful.
And they're harvesting. It's this beautiful picture. And one of these days, I'm going to make this big picture of that. I haven't got around to it.
that'd be
And
great.
oh yeah, it's going to be tough, and it's going to be, I've put it off because it's hard. But an interesting thing is that some paintings that I've done, that I look at the photograph and I think, oh my gosh, this is going to be wonderful, but it's going to be so difficult. I put it off, and I finally do it, and invariably they turn out to be one of the best works I did.
Wow.
And it always surprises me.
That's quite a lesson too.
Yeah,
for
it
all
is.
of us. Just because it's hard.
Yeah.
So you have to do a lot of your work in a solitary fashion. It's you and your studio and your materials and everything, and images you have either in your mind or some form is next to you. But you also seek community, and you've become a leader. Can you talk about the importance of that community interaction, even in your creative process or your creative life?
I've been thinking about that, and what you said is right. It's a solitary business, painting, and I'm very solitary. A lot of painters have music and, you know, rock music. Or
Oh, and you don't even do that part?
I don't do that.
Oh.
It's I could work in a soundproof room,
Okay.
and I really don't like noise. And so I work very quiet, very solitary, and in fact, every Tuesday I'm with a group of painters. There's about 8 or 10 of us, and I usually don't paint. I just kind of mentor other people and walk around and
okay.
help them, you know, or if they ask me questions, I don't go around and, you know, preach to them or anything.
Yeah.
But I just have a hard time even sitting there with these people that I know and painting.
Yeah.
And so it's that, but back to what you asked about giving, you know, giving back or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I think we need to do that. We need to, you know, we've got this ability and we can teach. And if I teach classes occasionally, and it's fun, and you learn every time
Yeah,
you teach.
yeah.
But we can go out and show other people what we do. And, you know, what you asked me something, I think, about the gallery
Yes.
and the.
Yeah, how did you know the story best, I think, of how it got started or how it keeps going, and it's right downtown, right?
It's right downtown.
It's fairly close to the Steinbeck Center.
It's about a block and a half
There you go,
down
yeah.
from them.
Yeah.
And we've got about 30 people. It's a co-op gallery. There's about 30 people in there.
And how's the co-op work? Is it pretty good?
Yeah, nice people. I was in Venture Gallery in Monterey, and same thing. It's basically the same setup, and it was fun. But we had some changes a few years ago. I closed my photography studio, and
yeah.
we moved, and all this stuff happened at the same time. So I had to bail out of something. So I dropped Venture because it was a commute.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stayed in Salinas, which turned out to be a good thing.
And you're mostly located in North Salinas.
My
Yeah,
home, yeah,
yeah.
I live in North Salinas, and but the gallery itself, it's nice to be with other artists, to talk to people, and to see what they do. And I have a good friend that she and I talk, and, you know, occasionally I, you know, run into a problem, and I'll email her a picture and say, "What's wrong with this thing?"
That's wonderful.
And she'll write me back and tell me something, and, you know,
Yeah.
it works both ways,
Wow.
and we can do that.
Yeah.
I don't, like I said, I'm not into painting with other people. I read about people that they go out and have, I don't know what they call them, paint outs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Paint-outs. Yeah.
That is
yeah.
not my thing. I just, you know, so sorry, people, if you like doing that, but it's not for me. I'm a solitary guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. So tell us more about the Salinas Valley Art Gallery itself. So we know now that it's near the Steinbeck Center in downtown Salinas. And is it open every day?
It's open 10 to 5, 6 days a week, and 11 to 3 on Sundays.
That's amazing. That is really great. So you can
Oh,
almost
I
go
take it back.
anytime.
We're closed temporarily on Mondays.
Okay.
We lost a few people, and our numbers were down. And everybody has to work a little bit.
Okay, yeah, that makes
And
sense because it's
we
cold,
had some
right?
people move away and health problems and stuff, and our numbers dropped. So the easiest way to do it, we close Mondays for a while. It's a
Yeah.
temporary, hopefully, adjustment,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's the way things go, you know.
Now you've taken on a leadership role. Can you explain your role and what made
the
you
gallery?
willing to do that? Yeah, with the gallery.
Well, I'm the director, and it's I've been the director. This is my 3rd year, I think. So theoretically, I got 1 more year and I'm out, which is fine.
So it's a fixed
It's
time period?
2 2-year terms.
Oh, okay.
And I'm in year 3, so
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. But you know, somebody's got to pull the, pull
Yeah.
the strings and make things go. And people asked me to do it. They thought I'd do a good job, so I said okay. And it turns out it's not as difficult as everyone thinks.
So what is your unique responsibilities as the director? Do you choose what happens, or are you coordinating everything?
We have a
How does
board
that
meeting once a month,
Uh-huh.
and there's 5 or 6 of us on the board, and we determine how we're gonna, whatever's gonna do. We go over the bills, of course, and we look at what's happening.
Yeah.
And like I said, our numbers are down, and how do we get new people? An interesting thing about getting new people is that the artists seem to be a little bit older.
Uh-huh.
And young people I think the electronic age has got the young people away from some of this. So I've been off and on over the years a member of various galleries and organizations, and invariably they talk about getting young people.
Yeah.
And it's a problem because old people get old and they have to quit because they got old.
Right.
And it's going to happen to all of us, I guess. Hopefully not too soon. But anyway, I lost my train of thought there.
Well, there are young artists coming through. There's the Youth Arts Collective that in Monterey.
Yeah.
Their kids are coming from all over, and they're painting, and they're doing graphic design, and they're doing all kinds of things.
We don't seem to be able to get the young people even interested.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering about that. And we've been talking about that just recently, so I'm not sure where how to answer your question.
Yeah, but
We're
you're
working on it.
exploring.
It's something we're looking at.
You're exploring. So let's say people are watching right now and they realize, wait, I know several people. Do they have to live in Salinas to be a part of the gallery?
Not really. We have members that live far away. In fact, we had one who had moved away to Ohio.
Oh, wow.
And she does pottery.
Uh-huh.
And she just recently said that she's going to, quit.
Yeah.
But we're still selling the remains of her stuff. But we have people in San Francisco and
you
San
do?
Jose
Wow.
area, but not too many. And
Yeah.
some of the people, they've got connections to us, to Salinas or the area somehow. A couple people have moved away, but retained their, we have one lady that's actually in Germany,
Wow.
and she sends her work.
But she
But
spent some time in Salinas and still wants
Well,
to be a part of
she
it.
was there, and she
Yeah.
wants to stay.
Yeah.
Pretty much, it's a local artist.
But there's no requirement.
No,
Yeah.
no. There are galleries that have limits. You
Yeah.
can only be within 30 miles or 50 miles or whatever.
Yeah.
We don't do that. We are, in fact, we've had so much difficulty getting people that we've expanded that a little bit.
So I noticed you also have a good variety of types of art that are displayed or exhibited there. So that is also really interesting to me. So you have some jewelry, like in addition to
We have
paintings, and
quite a bit of stuff. We have woodcuts. The lady from Germany, in fact, does woodcuts and stuff like that. I'm not real familiar with that, but she
Yeah.
does woodcuts and linoleum and I don't know, all kinds of that
Sure,
type
sure.
of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And we have sculpture. We have a couple of really different sculptures that are really nice. And one young lady
There you go.
that does sculpture. Her stuff is outstanding. And
do you
several
remember her name?
jewelers. Her name
Bring
is, I can't pronounce her name.
Oh. So we'll have to.
She goes by Sharon, but her
She goes by Sharon. So she's a sculptor. And if we were to try to discover more, can we find that on your website?
Yes. Our website is Salinas Valley Art Gallery.com. And you can just go to the artist thing and hit it, and the first one up is me, of course, because my last name starts with an A.
That's handy.
And she's under there somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
But
good.
you can pick the people by their names and hit it, and it'll show you give you a bio and tell you a little, and show a few pictures, you know.
And how does each of the artists decide? I mean, you have a beautiful space. It's wonderful. I'll go back to front. It's just really, really great. But it's still limited compared to the number of artists that you have and all the stuff that they might have. How do you and or they choose what goes into the gallery?
What goes into
into the gallery of all the stuff that they have?
They choose.
They do choose.
Each artist chooses.
So you'll tell them, give us 3 things, give us 4 things.
No, each artist has, the wall spaces are 5 feet wide, 8 feet tall.
And that's what they know.
And they're not all that size,
Okay.
because of the configuration of the building. Some of them are naturally just a little larger.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any smaller, except for possibly a couple of corner spaces.
Okay.
We have some stand-up triangle-shaped,
Uh-huh.
I don't know what you call those things, but paintings can go on those. And each artist, every 60 days, we change.
Oh, okay, okay.
And what happens is, when I first started in the gallery, in Venture Gallery in Monterey, actually, years ago, I thought you had to put in new paintings every time. So, man, I was batting out paintings like crazy. And finally, one of the artists said, you know, you don't have to put in new paintings every time. Boy, my life changed overnight. And I can put in, you can put in the same thing, but we kind of discourage keeping the same pieces up forever.
Yeah, it does make sense.
And
60 days is a
60
decent
days,
window,
yeah.
isn't it?
But you know, it's interesting because I've had paintings that I sold that I would have in there for maybe 2 or 3 times just because I was busy and I didn't happen to have enough to fill the space.
The whole space, yeah.
And lo and behold, it'd sell.
Yeah.
You know, but if I took it out at 60 days, then I wouldn't have sold it.
So hard to know when the right person comes by and just makes that
Exactly.
connection.
Painting is an emotional thing.
Yeah.
When I had my photography studio open, people came in and they pretty much knew what they wanted, and I knew what to give them. Painting is honestly, pardon my language, but it's a crapshoot. I just cannot figure. It's an emotional thing.
Yeah.
If you walk in the gallery and you look at my paintings or someone else's, and the best painting that person ever did is hanging in front of you,
Yeah.
it may not affect you at all. Or it may affect you negatively.
It's hard for me to say that about your work particularly because there are many times I've seen your work even in Soul Treasures and other places, and I just know it and I'm just drawn to it right away. Oh, there's Ed's work.
I like you.
It really is the best
Thank
thing
you.
ever. And but certainly one of the reasons this whole thing works is that people are drawn to different styles, different ideas at different times.
I'll tell you an
So,
interesting
Ed, I'm sorry we have to leave it here
Oh,
now,
okay.
but I just want to say how much I really appreciate your coming in today and being a part of all this. And your work is so exquisite, you don't need to do anything. But I really appreciate you stepping up and taking a leadership role all the same.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
all the nice
Thank
words.
you.
Thank you so much.